All right, now that the scanner's powered up, we're going to take a look at the man-machine interface that's built into the scanner. So this is your base screen that you have here on the scanner, and there's really only 4 buttons that you're going to use. It's where you're going to spend the vast majority of your time if you're not using a tablet. So you have the 4 setting buttons down here at the bottom. The very first one is just the density that you're scanning at, so currently it's on low. You have the low, the medium, and the high resolutions. Just hit the X to get out of there. The next one is just to turn the camera on or off. So right now it's off, so I just click that. It turns the camera on. The next button here is the double scan. So right now it's off. Again, if I want to do the double scan to remove noise, I simply just click that and it turns it on, and you can see my scan time doubles. Usually I have that off depending on where I'm at. And then the final button here is just the Viz button. So you can again turn that on or off. You're typically, if you're ever doing cloud to cloud, or if you're just even doing target registration, it's going to help. So I would always leave that on unless for some reason you're working in complete darkness, and then the Viz really isn't going to be able to track you anyhow. So the only other button here is obviously the play button, but there are a couple other things on here to be able to use the instrument without the tablet. So right up here in the top left, you have 4 dots with 4 lines. If I click on that, it's where I can go in and create a job. So if I wanted to create a job right now, I could just hit the plus button and create that job, but I'm not going to do that. And then we'll just hit the back arrow here, and then up here in the top right is where your settings are at. So if I click on that, you can see that my default setting is my low resolution. Images are on, double scans off, my Viz is on. I can eject my USB stick, I can format a USB stick, and then everything else in terms of my Wi-Fi, my GPS, my compass, my altimeter, LED indicator, monitoring, tilt change, all of that's on. I have my PIN code turned off, but if you want to program a PIN code that you would have to type in upon powering up, you can have that. You can also see a preview of the scan, make a sound, and then your language, date and time. And then finally you have your system information. So this is where it'll tell you your firmware and some other items. But when you go to connect to a tablet or your phone or anything else, there's 2 places that you can actually get the Wi-Fi password. One is, if I switch this around real quick, on the inside compartment here, down on the bottom where the serial number is, the Wi-Fi password's on there. Sometimes that can be a little bit difficult to read. So you can also come in here to the system information. So if I just hit view, and you'll see my Wi-Fi password and everything's on there, instrument type, serial number, firmware version, so on and so forth. And then if I scrolled up just a little bit more, if you're ever updating your firmware, you would basically stick it on, stick in the USB stick with the firmware on it, and at that time it would plug in right here on under upgrade firmware, and I could just hit upgrade. You can also transfer your log files and any other things that would be necessary in this area. So that's it in terms of the quick basic man-machine interface. Next we're going to look at basically controlling the unit with an iPad.